this is chapter 1 part 2. Previously I have taught you chapter 1 part 1, which is the introduction to electrostatics. Okay, now these are the properties of electric charges. All these are there, and then Coulomb's law. It is divided into A, then B, then C. Only C part are there, and now I start. The first A part relates to the first property of electric charges, that is quantization of electric charge. Quantization of electric charge. Quantization of electric charge. This quantization of electric charge means the charges, when you rub and when you do friction between the two bodies, then there happens transfer of exchange of electrons from higher concentration to lower concentration. The bodies are charged and the charges are developed on them. Then it is by the experiments done by Goldstein and by Milken oil drop experiment, when the oil drop has been charged by viscosity. So many other experiments have been done. Then it is realized that whatever the charges are present on negatively charged bodies or positively charged bodies, those charges are the integer multiple of the smallest charge. Those charges are the multiplication of several E's. That means there can be 2 E's. 2 E's means 2 electron, or 2 loss of electrons, 2 gain of electrons, 3 loss of electrons, 3 gain of electrons. So that is called the charges, electric charges present on different bodies, which are the charged bodies. They are the integer multiple of the smallest charge. The smallest charge found is the charge present on electron or proton, which is either plus E or minus E, whose value, magnitude, is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So the existing charges present on the bodies, they can be either 1 electron is transferred, gained or lost, plus minus 1 E. 2 electrons are gained or lost, plus minus 2 E. 3 electrons, plus minus 3 E, like this. So this is called the quantization or atomicity of charges. That the charges present on different charged bodies are the integer multiple of the smallest charge E, whose value is 1.6. This is called quantization or atomicity of charges. In routine experiments or in day-to-day life, we came across different bodies which have got excess of charges, large amount of charges. So in a routine experiment which we are doing with silk and glass rods, ebonite and fur, there the principle of quantization is not at all experienced. There we adopt the modern concept that the fundamental particles, which are the electron, proton, neutron, which are the subatomic particles, they are composed of quarks. Quarks means the charges which are in fraction, present in fraction, but those total fraction make either plus E or minus. That means these fundamental particles, electron, proton, neutron, are composed of 2 types of quarks, up quarks and down quarks. Up quarks means plus minus 2 upon 3 E, down quarks means plus minus 1 upon 3 E. That means the electron can be composed of 2 up quarks and 1 down quark. Similarly, neutron can be composed of 2 down quarks, and they are composed by up quarks and down quarks. They are made up of up quarks and down quarks, and quarks are the fractionalized charges. So the number of electrons exchanged between the bodies, if they are n, suppose n electrons are lost, n electrons are gained, and E is the smallest charge present, then the charge present on either of the bodies, that is Q, is equal to plus minus NE. Similarly, like this, if 1 electron is lost, plus minus 1 E, 2 electrons, plus minus 2 E, n electrons, plus minus N. This is the charge present Q On positively charged bodies, it will be Q is equal to plus Ne. On negatively combinedly we have written it Q is equal to plus minus Ne. This is the principle of quantization or atomicity. Now the B part, that is conservation of charge. By this law of conservation of energy, you know well that energy is neither created nor it can be destroyed. Law of conservation of mass, mass is not at all created, neither it is destroyed. The mass remains constant. Similarly, the energy also remains constant. Similarly, the charge. We can apply this conservation law on the charge present on a system containing two bodies, more than two bodies. That system, initially it is neutralized, neutral form, and after charging also it is neutral. Although the transfer of electrons has taken place, but before charging and after charging, the system remains, the charges present on the system remain constant before charging and after charging. So this is conservation of charge. The total charge present in an isolated system, such kind of system which is isolated, not being charged, not any rubbing process or any process is done. That isolated system, the total charge present after charging and before charging, that total charge present on that system remain constant. That means charges are neither created nor destroyed. Whatever are the amount of total charge, total number of positive charge and negative charge present on a charge body, it remains constant before charging and after charging. Suppose there are two bodies. Previously, on the previous day, I have given one diagram is meant. There, the body is positively charged, plus 4e after charging, and another body, it has gained 4 electrons, so it has got excess of free electrons, minus 4e. So this A and B makes a system, and if you add these charges, plus 4e and minus 4e, 0. And before charging, A and B both are neutral, the total charge is 0. So charges are neither created nor they are destroyed. This is law of conservation of charge. Example is there. The example is in nuclear physics, which is pair production. It means when gamma ray photon, it is an energy particle having 0 charge on it. 0 charge. Gamma ray photon, energy particle having 0 charge. It interacts. It is moving with a particular velocity, and it comes in the nuclear field of the nucleus inside the atom. It interacts, pierces in the atom and comes closer to the nucleus, the positive field of the nucleus. Then it is converted into two particles, electron minus E and positron plus E. Now if you add these minus E and plus E, again you are getting 0. That means the charges are not at all created, neither they are destroyed. They are changed. They change their pattern, but the total of them remains same. Now the C part, that is Coulomb's law of electrostatic interaction between point charges, and it is in scalar form. First of all, we will learn scalar form, we will read scalar form, then vector form. So Coulomb is the scientist who has first of all studied and measured also the force of interaction, electrostatic force of interaction. This we read, these forces present on the point charges in electrostatic, and those forces are called interacting forces of electrostatics. So Coulomb has first of all studied the force of interaction, and that can be interaction force that can be repulsive or attractive between two point charges or 2 point charged bodies here, and then he made a law. He has also measured that force, and he also noticed that this force, interacting force, how it depends on the value of the charges, the medium present between the charges and the distance between them. All these things he has measured, and then he has propounded a law. According to this law, the electrostatic force of interaction between any 2 point charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitudes of those two charges but inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. Provided there is a condition, provided these charges should be kept in vacuum, the medium should be vacuum, then this force is directly proportional to the product of these charges. That means this force of interaction depends on the values of both the charges or different charges present as well as the distance between them. These two factors are. So A and B are the 2 points. The distance between them is R, and 2 point charges Q1 and Q2, they can be positive, they can be negative, positive, negative, anything. So they are experiencing the mutual force. This force of interaction is mutual, not one-sided. If Q1 attracts Q2, Q2 will also attract by the same force to Q1. Q1 repels Q2, so Q2 will also repel Q1 by the same force. The force is mutual. So this mutual force, let it be considered F, and R is the distance. So according, if you apply this law, then F is directly proportional to the product of the magnitudes of charges, and it is inversely proportional to the square of distance between these two charges. If you combine them, it will be F directly proportional to proportional to Q1 Q2 upon R square. And this sign is replaced by is equal to, and a constant comes K, so F is equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. K is the proportionality constant which is of great significance. It is of great importance, and now we will study later on. This much is enough for you. Go through it again and again and read it. Whatever the material is, this is very important. Be happy. Next day we will meet. Continue from it. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.